Alright, so now that we've got our website built, we want to make sure that Google recognizes it, and this is going to help expedite the process of approval for your ads as well as the review of your page and how it's or pages and how they're going to relate to your keywords. So what we're going to want to do is create a website conversion, and we're going to click on Tools and we're going to click on Conversions. And then you'll notice we get a couple of different options here. We're going to select the website conversion as soon as this pops up here. Okay, you can see I've got a bunch of conversions here and I'll explain them in a second. The first thing we're going to do is click on the red button, and again, here's the options. We're going to select website conversion. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to call this one Pest Control Website Confirm. This is basically just a way for me to confirm the pest control website is mine and is tied to this account. So I hit done. I'm going to not count a value, assign a value, because I just want to confirm the site. So I don't care about conversions or anything like that. Doesn't matter about what the count is. 30-day window doesn't matter. Include in conversions. I'm going to unselect that, and then I'm going to click Save and Continue. Now, they're going to give you a code. All you got to do is click here, Control C, copy it, and then we're going to copy and paste that code into our pest control page. So I don't have a flea page, how to get rid of flea page, so I'm just going to open up Pest Control Florida here really quickly and show you where this code is going to go. So you can see I'm in visual mode on WordPress. All you have to do is hit text and it automatically turns everything into HTML. Don't be alarmed. All you have to do is scroll down to the bottom of the page after your code is entered in, after all the HTML is stopped, and you can see I've already copied and pasted the code from another confirmation. So this is the code for Pest Control Confirm conversion page. Okay, all you have to do is copy paste here, click update, and now you're done with website conversion. So when we go back to AdWords, you just click on done, click done, and you'll see it pop up here. Now you notice I have one for the website and one for the call ads, so we're going to create a conversion for call ads in the next video, but the first one we had to do is make sure the website is confirmed so that Google knows this website is ours, and it's going to help again with the ad approval and expediting that process so your ads get approved. I won't say instantly, but almost instantly. The last thing I'm going to give you here is the code that you're copying and pasting into the page. You need to make sure that this is the page that you're going to be copying and pasting into your ad copy for the verification URL. So make sure that wherever this code is at for the website verification or the website conversion confirmation code, whatever you paste in, wherever you paste it in, make sure that is the landing page that you're going to use for your verification URL in your ad copy. Alright, so now we're going to set up a conversion for your actual phone calls so that Google can track where your conversions are coming from and what actually counts as a conversion. So we click on create a new conversion and we go to phone calls. We hit select. We're going to make sure that we hit calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads. Very important you select that option. And we're going to enter in a name here. So for this one it's going to be Pest Control Ring Partner Offer. This way I know exactly what offer I'm promoting and what platform I'm promoting it on, and that it's a conversion. So once I click done here, this conversion is worth $7. So I'm going to put in a big fat 7 there. Click done. The call length is preset at 60 seconds, but I know that the call rate needs to be 2 minutes or more. Now here's the thing, I don't put in 120 seconds even though that's 2 minutes. The reason I don't do that is because the IVR is actually not counted as part of the call length, and so when someone calls in and they're asked to press 1 or 2 or put in their zip code, things like that, that's about 10 to 15 seconds long roughly. And this is also another reason why you want to listen to the IVRs to see how long they are. And now I know I need 2 minutes plus the IVR time. So instead of 120 seconds, I'll probably do 135 seconds. That way I know when something is counted as a conversion in my AdWords account, it's 100% a conversion. There's no doubt in my mind. So I'm going to click done here. I'm going to count it as one conversion. I'm going to leave the conversion window at 30 days. Category I will leave as lead, and then I definitely want to include this in conversions, yes. All I have to do is hit save and continue. And then I'm going to close this out. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do once we're logged into Google AdWords is create our campaign. And so I'm going to walk you through step by step how we do that. So from the home screen, you're going to click on campaigns. And if you don't have any campaigns, then this will be completely empty. If you do have campaigns, then obviously they'll be showing up here. So all we got to do is click the red campaign button, and you can see a drop down that happens here, and we're going to click on search network only. Now once we're here, obviously we're going to name our campaign. I'm just going to leave this the way it is since this is an example setup. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure again search network only is selected from that drop down, and we're going to click on call only ads. We're going to scroll down to networks, and we're going to unselect include search partners. This is very important. There are a lot of AdSense sites out there that we don't want to burn impressions and money on. We're going to select the locations. For now, I'm just going to do United States. I'm going to go back and edit these a little bit later and get more specific. And then under location options, I'm going to make sure that I'm targeting only people in my targeted location. Only people in my targeted location. Exclude is fine, people in searching for or who show interest in my excluded location. This is what you want to select for exclude. Make sure language is English, unless it's a Spanish offer or some other offer with a different language. Bid strategy, we're going to go with manual CPC. We're going to make sure enable enhanced CPC is turned off. And for a default bid, I'm just going to put in $1, and budget for the day I'm going to put in anywhere from 50 to 100. And now we're down to delivery method. I'm going to leave this on standard because I want to make sure that the budget is spent throughout the day. And with the schedule, I'm going to make sure that I put in the time right. So I'm going to add in, with this pest control offer, it's going to be all days. And since it's on Pacific Standard Time here on my account, I'm going to go from 8 a.m. Eastern, which is 5 a.m. Pacific, to 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. Pacific. Put that on a 24-hour clock because that's the way I like it. And then last option here, add delivery, add rotation. We're going to rotate indefinitely, and this makes sure that when you have multiple ads and you do your A/B testing later on, that every ad gets a fair shake and is not excluded for lower click-through rates. Because remember, even though an ad has a lower click-through rate, it very well could be the higher converting ad. Alright, so once all these settings are completed, just hit save and continue, and then we get to make our first ad group. Now I recommend that we do one keyword per ad group. So for pest control, we're going to do how to get rid of fleas. Business name is not really that important, but it is required, so we're going to use the exact same keyword. So I'm just going to copy that, put that in there. That's how unimportant it is. I just want to make sure the business name is there. And then the phone number. So if you have a phone number from Qzx920 that you're using, this is where it would go. If you're using a call number from the promo section of your affiliate platform, this is where that number would go. As you can see, I follow their format very closely. And now it's time for the ad copy. Okay, so I have the copy in. Is your home infested with fleas? Number one local pest control, call now. I make sure there's a good call to action. In the ad copy. And for the display URL, I want something that has my keyword in it. And I'm going to cover more advanced strategies a little bit later in the training on how to really optimize your ad. Your verification URL is the page that we're actually going to send Google to so that they can see how it relates to your keyword, and that's how they get your quality score, or at least a part of it. We're going to make sure that we click a Google forwarding phone number. We're going to count calls as phone call conversions, and then we're going to select a conversion from the drop down. Now, if you don't have a conversion set up yet, go ahead and go to the next training video that has call conversions set up, and make sure you set those up before you start making your ads. So in this case, I'm going to click on pest control homeowners. That's the campaign, and then I add my keyword in here, which my keyword, since I'm only doing one, how to get rid of fleas, and then save the ad group. Now I have an ad with an ad group in it. So if we go back to the top of the campaign here, we're inside the example campaign, you will see now one ad ad groups here. There we go. There's the ad group. There's the bid. And if I go to the keywords, you can see the keyword where my bid should be suggested. What my quality score is going to look like looks like 6 out of 10, and I haven't even optimized yet. And I'm going to go ahead and put all of this on pause just so Google doesn't try to run anything here. And you now have a complete campaign setup. All you have to do is go back and add in your additional keywords, or you can use the AdWords editor to upload ads and campaigns in bulk. Now, just to help you out a little bit, if you're thinking about running regular search, and these are non-call only ads I'm talking about for this particular example, you would want to run something called ad extensions. And so inside of the campaign, all you have to do is click on the Add Extensions tab, click on Add Extension, and we're going to select a phone number. If the phone number is not listed, which if you've got a brand new campaign, it shouldn't be, we're going to hit New Phone Number. And so this is where you put the phone number that you're going to be forwarding to. So if it's the promo number from the affiliate platform or from the phone number you set up in Qzx920, this is where that number is going to go. Again, make sure the format is correct here. And we're going to show the ad with a Google forwarding phone number. We're going to prefer mobile device. We're going to make sure that under advanced, the report phone call conversions is selected, and we're going to select the option or the conversion from our conversions section. So I want to make sure that pest control is selected there. That way, anytime a call comes through my ads, it's going to go through a Google forwarding phone number to the phone number I need it to. It's mobile preferred, and it's going to count on my phone call conversions under this conversion, pest control homeowners. And then all I have to do is hit save. Now, once I hit save, the phone number should pop up here, and all I have to do is hit this button here. It puts the phone number over there, along with all the settings and conversion tags that I set. All I have to do is hit save, and now I have an ad extension for this campaign, just like that. And again, ad extensions are for non-call only ads. So if you decide to run regular search, if that's your bread and butter, what you want to do is come in here to ad extensions and make an ad extension. And an ad extension is simply an extension of your search ad that's under non-call only ads. And what that means is it's going to add in the phone number and the ability to call from a regular search ad. So again, this is for non-call only ads. For you AdWords users out there that like regular search instead of call only, this is for you and how to set up the ad extension to still take advantage of pay-per-call. Okay, now we're going to go and set up keywords. We want to make sure that we have a list of negative keywords. And so when we go under keywords under the main campaign that we created, we're going to click on negative keywords. And negative keywords are simply a way for us to filter out results that we don't want people typing into Google and our ads showing up for. So for example, customer service phone numbers, technical support. We don't want phone calls for technical support. We want phone calls for people that need pest control service. And so all we have to do is either add them at the ad group level, which I actually recommend the campaign level because it's going to cover all of your keywords. Just click on the button, either which way you go, and add in your negative keywords here. And below the video, you should have a list of negative keywords that you can start with. And you're going to be able to grow this list as we go along. And I'm going to show you how to do that once we get into the optimization section of your call-only ads. Alright, so now we're going to look at your ad copy and your ad group strategy. So here's the deal. We're going to start with the ad group strategy, and I always like to do one keyword per ad group because this way when a conversion comes through, I'm going to know exactly which keyword that conversion came from. Just because I was able to do one keyword per ad group. Now, AdWords allows you to do up to 20,000 ad groups per campaign, and inside of each ad group, you're able to do 20,000 keywords per 20,000 campaigns. So you could have an infinite number of keywords inside of your ad groups, but again, I prefer to do one keyword per ad group because you have so many ad groups that you can take advantage of the tracking abilities. Now let's come in and talk about ad copy just a little bit, because I want to make sure that you know what we're doing here and why we're doing it the way we're doing it. So call only ads show up a little bit differently, where the phone number is at the top and then your website, which now you can see why it's important for you to have that URL set the correct way with your keyword. And then I always like questions. I like the word local. I like a call to action. I also like words like guaranteed, best service. Those kinds of words and phrases, along with a strong call to action such as call now, are going to work really well for you in higher click-through rates, and also your click to call ratio. So for every click you get, how many calls do you get? If you have 2 clicks and 1 call, then that means you're paying for 2 clicks and only getting 1 call. If you get 100% click to call ratio, you're looking at 1 click equals 1 call. All right, so anything that's north of 50% in that range, by the way, is ideally where you want to be. Meaning, for every 2 clicks, you want at least 1 phone call. Alright, so now we're going to go back and look at some of the settings. Even though we already set up our campaign and I showed you how to do that, I want to go back through and show you how we can go and modify these settings, because I've got some suggestions for better tracking when it comes to your campaigns. So under campaigns, if you click on settings, you'll see here we're under search network call only, Google search, no search partners, and you can see our targeted locations. It says United States. What I like to do is actually add each individual state. So I'm going to remove the United States and I'm going to add in each state. Now a lot of you are probably like, oh man, I really don't want to type in 50 states. And guess what? You're not going to have to. Just click Advanced Search, click on Bulk Locations, and then copy and paste the list of 50 states that I gave you into this box right here and hit Search. All I have to do is click Add All, and I'm going to zoom in and make sure that all the states are added. Sometimes they're not, and as you can see, I missed Washington State and looks like New York State. So all I got to do is come back up in here and say Washington State, hit Enter, and then do New York State. Hit Search, Add All, and if I zoom out, all my states are added. Alright, I'll click Done and then click Save. And now you can see all my targeted locations. So when I actually go into locations here, I'll be able to see exactly which state is the most profitable. Isn't that neat? Because that way I can turn off the ads that are showing in certain states and costing me money. So for example, if California has 30 million people, right, if it's not as profitable as, let's say, Arizona, and I'm bleeding out money in California, getting a lot of clicks and a lot of calls, but my conversions are not happening. My cost per conversion is high. My conversion number is low. I'm going to turn California off and not show my ads to California. And this is how you can double and triple your profits overnight through optimizing this way. So instead of doing what everybody else does, which is selecting United States, I like to sort by state. And we're going to go back to the settings screen, and I'm going to continue on and show you how to optimize even further. We're going to scroll down to ad scheduling. And if you remember, the parameters for this pest control offer was 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week. Now, I have the time 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you remember, that's because my account is on Pacific Standard Time. So, 3 hours behind 8 a.m. is going to be 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, what I want to do is, instead of doing just all days and making it nice and simple like that, I want to go in and add a schedule, and I'm going to delete all of these days, and I'm going to add in all days, and I'm going to break it up into blocks. So I'm going to go from, for example, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's a 3-hour block. And then I'm going to go from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then I'm going to go from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I'm going to go from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I'll just delete these two because I don't need them. Now if you notice, it's on all days. And so basically what I did here was I broke up the schedule to where it's in 3-hour blocks 7 days a week. So if conversions, for example, let me go ahead and save this. and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if conversions are from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and I've broken it up into 4 blocks like that, 3-hour blocks, maybe most of my conversions happen on Tuesdays at 11 to 2. Maybe my hot days are Saturday and Sunday 8 to 11, right? The only way I'm going to know that is if I go in here and do the ad schedule the way I just showed you. Now for 24/7 offers, what I would recommend doing is just 4-hour blocks. Make 6 4-hour blocks. So for 24/7, if we go into ad schedule, obviously we wouldn't do it for this campaign because it's um, an offer that goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. But for 24/7, we would just clear out all of these and add in 6 and make sure they say all days. And then we would just start out at 0000 and go to 4 a.m. and 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. excuse me, and then 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., 8 p.m. to midnight. And that's how you set up your scheduling, so that way when it comes time to, let me cancel this out, when it comes time to see where your conversions are coming from on which days of the week and what times of those days of the week are the most profitable, now you get really optimized. I can tell you down to the location and time what are the most profitable for each offer based on the settings that I just showed you. So if we go back to the settings again, I'll cover them. It's the locations that you want to add, and it's the schedule that you want to change. And if you notice, there's tabs for each of those where you've got locations and ad schedule. Okay, now we're going to look at optimizing based on search terms, or it's also known as search queries. And the way you navigate there is going to be through your keywords on a sub-tab keywords under any campaign. So you choose your campaign, select keywords, and then search terms. So we're going to click on search terms. Now obviously this is a test campaign, so there are no search terms here. And so I'm going to go to an example campaign. Okay, and so in this example campaign where we have search queries, these are the search terms that people are actually typing into Google. So this is exactly what's being typed into Google when my ads are shown. And these are the ad groups that they are shown for. You can see Terminix Pest Control, that's a keyword that's producing some clicks for me, and of course I get all the data on it, how much it's costing, how many conversions I'm getting, what the conversion rate looks like from the number of clicks, etc. And so where this becomes very helpful is if I know exactly what someone's typing into Google, then I'm going to be able to target different keywords. For example, I've sorted by conversions over here to the right. So that way I know I'm targeting the first few results here that actually have turned conversions in this campaign. So the first few here are number for Terminix Pest Control, what's the customer service number for Terminix, Orkin phone number, and telephone number for Terminix. So what I would do is now I can go and make these new keywords and make them phrase or exact match, and I'm going to pay less money for them, and I'm still going to get good conversions. And because I pay less money for them, as long as my quality score is high and everything is good to go, all I have to do is make pages up for these terms. So I would go back to my website direct home service and I would make an Orkin phone number page, and then I would target this with phrase and exact, and over time the traffic that comes in through this is going to convert really high, my quality score is going to go up, and then that's going to give me cheaper clicks, and cheaper clicks means more calls, and more calls means more conversions, more money in the pocket. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to find and define your negative keywords using your search queries. So basically we're looking for terms that are going to waste our money and not produce a conversion, and we're going to go over here into negative keywords and add them. So first let's take a look and see if we see anything. I've kind of already breezed through this list, and I found one that for sure I want to add, and it's the word questions and question. So who can I call to ask questions about ants? It's not very qualified, someone wants to talk about ants, that's not very high buyer intent in my mind. And so question or questions, I'm going to make sure that that's in my negative keywords. So I go over to negative keywords, and you can see I've got the standard list of negative keywords. And all I got to do is just click on add, put it in there. So I'm going to do questions, and I'm going to do question, and click save. And now I've optimized based on my negative keywords from search queries. Something else I want to show you as a good example is market. So earlier on in this campaign, I was getting a lot of flea market because I had flea in there as a keyword, and so market was showing up. So I put market in here, and now I don't get any search results under results under the search queries for flea markets anymore because I took the word market out, and so Google knows not to show my ad. So this is a great way to show your ad to buyers with high intent for the right types of keywords. Okay, so now we're going to talk about ad copy, a couple things to do with it, with dynamic keyword insertion, and also with using subdomains instead of the / get rid of fleas. We're going to actually put that in a subdomain to where it says how to get rid of fleas directoryhomeservice.com. So let's start with the ad copy. First, this is going to be done for every keyword you have, no matter what. You're going to want to start with your original ad, yes. At the same time, you're going to copy this ad, so we're going to select it, Control C or click copy, and then we're going to Control V or paste. And it doesn't look like you'll be able to copy ads that are under review. So I'm going to go to an example campaign and show you what that looks like. Okay, so here we are in the example campaign, and you can see my normal ad here. I have fixed the subdomain terminix.pest.control.directhomeservice.com, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Right now I want to focus on the ad copy because this one's a little bit different, and this is what we call dynamic keyword insertion for the ad. Okay, there's a couple different places you can use dynamic keyword insertion, and I'll explain what it is in just a second after I tell you where you can use it. So you can use it in the ad copy like we're doing here, and you can also use it on your landing pages. The landing page dynamic keyword insertion is used for regular search, display ads, things of that nature. So it doesn't work. Dynamic keyword insertion for your landing pages does not work for your call only ads. However, the dynamic keyword insertion for ad copy does work for call only ads as well as the other types of ads. So you can use both types of dynamic keyword insertion on display and regular search. And for call only ads like we have here, we can only use dynamic keyword insertion on the ad copy. Okay, so let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to show you the process for making a copy of the ad so it'll actually go through. You're going to want to make sure one ad has been approved, and so you'll see it's going to ask me, hey, if it already exists, do I want to create the duplicate? And so when I do that, it literally makes that third copy. Okay, the good news is that it's under review automatically. All I have to do is go in, make my changes, and so I'm going to do that really quick. Even though I already have a dynamic keyword insertion ad, I'm going to make another one for you just to show you how to do it, and then I'll explain exactly what dynamic keyword insertion is in case you don't know. So all we have to do is do the little squiggly bracket, type in keyword, colon, not semicolon, but colon, and a space, and then we put our normal ad copy. So you can see here, this is my normal ad copy. Not going to change it, which is why duplicating the ad is really nice. And then I'm just going to put a closing squiggly bracket there, whatever you call that thing. And now I have dynamic keyword insertion in my ad. All I have to do is go down here, click on Save Ad, and my dynamic keyword insertion on this top line will be here. If I want to put this on the second line, I can do that. All I got to do is take this off, take the squiggly bracket off the end, come down here and the second line and do the same thing. So squiggly bracket, keyword, colon, space, come to the end of the, oh, misspelled keyword, don't do that. Come over to the end, come over to the end, put your end squiggly bracket, and now you have dynamic keyword insertion on the second line. So dynamic keyword insertion, let me explain what it is and then you'll know how to use it better. Dynamic keyword insertion takes the keyword that this ad is using, which in this case is Terminix Pest Control, and wherever it says keyword, it will actually dynamically insert that keyword when someone sees this particular ad. So instead of the copy have a pest problem #1 rated on that top line, if I had dynamic keyword insertion there, what would show in that top line is Terminix Pest Control. And then on the second line, obviously the copy would still be the same, Pest Control Service Call Now. This allows for higher relevance and it improves your quality score. I don't have to tell you much about quality score other than if you have a higher quality score, you're going to have a lower cost per click and you'll be able to get more clicks for less cost, which means more conversions, more money in the bank. And so that's how we do dynamic keyword insertion and what dynamic keyword insertion is and how to best use it. So now all we have left to talk about is the subdomain. So you can see here for each of my keywords I make sure that I do a subdomain. A lot of people like to do the /. I showed that as an earlier example. This is a way for you to optimize keywords that are converting really well to make sure this is priority 1 in your domain. And so terminix.pest.control and then my domain, my normal domain. And so what I actually do is I go to the cPanel where I'm hosting the site, and once I'm in the cPanel I should be able to just scroll down and you'll see a tab called subdomains. And so I click on subdomains and all I have to do is type it in, terminix.pest.control. Terminix.pest.control, and then I make sure the domain is selected, the one that I want to use, and then I'll hit create. Now obviously you can see I've already created one, so I'm not going to create a second one. I'm going to show you how to manage the redirection. So basically that means when I'm going to show it to whenever someone types this address in, they're automatically going to go to this page, which as you can see is a pest control page that I've made. I just chose in this example Pest Control Florida because I did not make a Terminix Pest Control page yet. I just wanted to show you for an example. So I would click on Manage Redirection, and if you notice it says, hey, where do you want this to go to? And so this is where you put your end URL. The verification URL would go here, and you just hit save. And so now when you go back to your ads, you can type into the display URL terminix.pest.control.directHomeService. Make sure that the same verification URL is typed in here. You can use either or. You can use the ending, or you can use terminix.pest.control. I would recommend using terminix.pest.control because Google is going to see that. All the other settings can remain the same because it's just a duplicate of the ad, and we click Save the Ad. So I'm going to cancel that because I don't actually want that ad, and then I'm going to remove it because I've already made my dynamic keyword insertion ad, and that's how we optimize the ad copy. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the ad delivery, ad rotation, and frequency capping. I want to go over it a little bit more in detail, and it's under the campaign that you want to modify, and then the settings. So if you remember the settings screen where we've done location and schedule, if you just scroll down you should be able to see ad delivery, ad rotation, and frequency capping under advanced settings. And so you notice I had you choose rotate indefinitely because I want Google to not discriminate based on click-through rate, which they would do in other options, which I'll show you in a minute. But if you rotate indefinitely, you are in control of which ad wins, not Google. And again, like I said, it's not that Google's not intelligent, it's just that you're telling them, if you don't have them rotating indefinitely, you're telling them to optimize based on a click-through rate and not a conversion rate, unfortunately. And so I'm going to go through the different options with you and possible scenarios of when you might want to change out rotate indefinitely. I would recommend actually keeping it, but I'm going to go over the options for transparency, full disclosure, just so you know, like if you want Google to kind of take over for you and auto manage some of that stuff for you or automate some of that stuff for you, you can. I just don't recommend it. I think it's easy enough to manually take care of yourself. Besides, it's something you want to obviously always be testing, split testing your ads and making sure you have the strong copy, and updating your ad copy so that you don't have banner blindness, or people ignoring your ads after a while. So here we go through the options. Most people recommend optimizing for clicks. Now, like I said, Google is going to uh, take the winner based off of click-through rate and not based on conversion rate. Now, I don't care about clicks personally. I want conversions. And so that brings us to the next option, which is where we can optimize for conversions. Here's the catch though. Optimizing for conversions out of the gate, you don't have any data, and so Google has nothing to really go on except for whatever data they're pulling that's not related to your account. So I don't trust that data, right? I don't trust that. So what I do is I, again, leave it on rotate indefinitely, and if I ever wanted to automate, I would never optimize for clicks. I would always optimize for conversions, and this would be much later down the road once a campaign has been well established and is profitable, and I've identified the keywords that I want to keep targeting. Until then, I will be on rotate indefinitely, and most likely, like I said, I personally recommend that you stay on rotate indefinitely, and that's where I will be. But again, full disclosure, I wanted you to be aware of what your options are so that you can use these for your business how you see fit. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at reports, and reports is pretty important because it shows you exactly where you need to improve in order to get more conversions, get cheaper costs on your clicks. And we're going to start with the reporting under all campaigns. So if you're under the main campaign screen where you can see all of your campaigns listed, you can see over here I've got a few columns that are uh, added on that you may not have, and so I'm going to show you how to add those in. First thing we do is we go up here to columns and we hit modify. Now all you have to do is find search lost is, rank and budget, and search impression share, and you can find those under competitive metrics. All you have to do is hit the little button next to them and put them on the end of your report. And then I always like to do conversions as well, so if you go up to conversions, just put in conversions, and that'll show you the phone call conversions that you have. And you can save the set of columns to where this will be your main report at all times, like I do. And that way, every time you log into your AdWords, you'll be able to see at a glance how your campaigns are performing. So now let's go over each of these columns. Conversions are pretty self-explanatory. That means I've had a conversion that has reached the time limit that I set under conversions earlier. Remember when we set that up for particular phone calls, in this case pest control. There are definitions if you mouse over via the question mark. I'm going to give you the simplified definition. If you want to get geeky, you can definitely mouse over these at any time. I encourage it for a deeper understanding, but I'm going to give you the layman's terms here of what these three columns are and what they mean to you and what you can do about them. So search lost, what that basically means is you lost impressions based on what? So this one means you've lost impressions based on rank, your ad rank, which your ad rank is directly related to your quality score. So that means my quality score is not exactly dictated into this, but at campaign wide it shows me. So if I have a greater than 90% loss of search, that's a lot. So that's basically, this means I haven't optimized this campaign yet, which I haven't. But here's the point. If this number is high under search lost is rank, that means I'm not winning the quality score battle, if you will. Okay, so that's what search lost is rank is. You want this number to be low, not high. You want this number to be low. Now search lost is for budget. This means if my budget over here is too low, this will tell me how much search I lost based on the fact that my or budget, right? So this one's okay. So this tells me my budget's okay. I just got to get my quality score up, and then my budget will be even better because I'm not going to be spending as much on clicks if my quality score's up. Now the search impression share means how much of the search impressions I actually won. So this is telling me that I've only won less than 10% of the search impressions that have popped up for all the keywords in this entire campaign. So I'm at less than 10%. Now I happen to know that these stats are a little bit off because I've paused a lot of keywords. I have not gone in and fully optimized yet either. So over time, this number will go down and this number will go up. And so search impression share, we do want to go up. We want to gain as much of a share of those impressions on search that we can. We want to make sure that the budget stays low, the rank stays low here, the search loss stays low, the rank goes high, sorry. So this number stays low, this number stays low, and this number goes high. That's how we want them to be. So if you see this number high, this number high, this number low, you got some work cut out for you, okay? But that's how you read the report. Search loss is rank, search loss is budget, and search impressions share. Very useful stuff. Alright, so I'm logged into the back office of my Callzoo account, and I'm going to go over something that's actually very important, which is call recordings. Call recordings can reveal a ton about what's going on with your calls and what you can do to improve. And I'll give you an example. Right now, I have a lot of calls that are short duration, and I know these are targeted keywords, and so I'm wondering why that's the case. And I actually went back through and listened to a lot of the recordings that have been coming through, and a lot of them have IVRs stacked on top of IVRs, meaning it's like a phone tree nightmare where someone has a pest control problem or they're looking for a pest control professional. They're expecting to talk to someone within 30 to 40 seconds. And so when they get an IVR that says press 1 for a pest control professional and they press 1, and then it says please enter your 5-digit zip code, and they do that, and then it says transferring your call, welcome to automated voice phone tree for this particular pest control service. To speak to someone about pest control, press 1. I already pressed 1, right? That's what they're thinking. It's a nightmare. They end up hanging up. And so there's nothing I can personally do about that except talk to my affiliate manager, which I've done, and we're in the middle of hashing out what can be done about the IVR process to streamline it better so that I can figure a way to get these people talking to someone a lot faster and get paid for leads that I'm driving and not get so many frustrated people. Now, my point in saying all that, it's a nice little story and everything, but here's the point. I would not have known to do that or to say anything to my affiliate manager had I not been recording. Now, here's the deal. The affiliate managers actually, a lot of them, I don't know if all of them do this, but I know a good amount of them do, record the phone calls. And so they can go and listen to phone calls for you, but ultimately, you're in charge of your own business and your leads that you're generating. And so that's one of the reasons why I absolutely love Callzoo 2.0 is because I can go in and manage my business. Yes, the affiliate managers and platforms have recordings of the same call, but I'm the one looking out for my interests because they didn't catch that. I did, and that's not their responsibility necessarily to catch that. Now it goes without saying that had they caught that, they would have fixed it because they want to make money just as much as I do, and the only way we all make money is if the leads convert at a higher rate. And so there's a lot of calls here with frustrated people. You can actually hear them groan or hang up the phone, um, slam the phone. I mean, people get upset when they don't get to talk to someone fairly quickly, and so Call recordings revealed that. Call recordings can also reveal things like misconceptions. So you may have an ad and a keyword that's out there, and you're thinking it's going to be a high intent keyword, and you find out over time after listening to a few recordings that it's not very high intent. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's a waste of money. You can now go in, just because you listen to your recordings, and turn that keyword off and save yourself some money and optimize your campaign. So it's a great way to optimize campaigns based on what you hear. Another great example would be, I hear all the time in the recordings, who is most desperate for help and why. So for example, the word infestation came up in one of my recordings, and so I went and targeted that keyword because in my ad copy, because I knew that anyone who's dealing with what they deem an infestation is really suffering. They have a huge pain point there, a big problem that needs to be solved. And so those are the people that I want, people that are going to be in so much pain that they have to pick up the phone and just hit the first call button they see, which will be mine, and I'll get paid for that lead. And so call recordings are very helpful, again, for revealing things about your market, revealing their innermost needs, as well as catching things that the affiliate companies and managers may not have caught about streamlining your process so that you get more qualified leads and get paid for them. Okay, so we're going to talk about psychographic verticals. And so the best way to explain what psychographics are, if you don't know, is just to go through this example, because this is going to help you scale out using different ideas that other people most likely are not going to be thinking of or using. Because I've very rarely, maybe only in passing, ever heard just a couple people even talk about psychographics, let alone know what they are or how to use them. So this is going to be a very, very underground way for you to expand your campaigns. So let's say you want to drive leads for a golf course. Now, the first question you have to ask is, based on an avatar, who plays golf traditionally? Well, we know it's mostly male, right? Nothing sexist there. It's just mostly male. Mostly the male gender plays golf. And these men are usually middle-aged, and they're mostly white-collar professionals, so doctors, lawyers, people that have a highly paid skilled trade. So now that we know that, the big question is, what else do they like? Buy, use, talk about, think about, etc. What do these people do other than golf? So these people that are mostly male, that are white collar professionals, that are middle aged and play golf, what else do they do? What else do they buy? What do they like and talk about, think about? And so to give you an example, what kind of cars do you think these kind of men, these middle aged men who have money, what would they drive? I mean, if you need further clarification, do you think they would drive Toyotas and Hondas? Or do you think they'd drive BMWs and Lexus, Infiniti, Mercedes, right? They would drive higher end cars, higher end vehicles. What geographic areas would they live in if you were targeting golf course leads for a specific town or city or area, let's say? Would they live in middle income housing? Would they live in gated communities, right? So you can start targeting geographically based on that information as well. And then what's their income level look like? Are they making 30, 40,000 a year? Or are they making 80,000 up a year predominantly? And so psychographics is basically you asking the question of what else does this type of person that you've targeted for an offer buy or think about or purchase. So basically psychographics is the ability to take an avatar of a specific type of person and figure out, almost in a reverse engineer type of way, what else they buy and use and talk about and think about in order to cross promote. So for example, if I'm looking to get golf course leads, then I could target higher end luxury car dealerships in the local area with the golf offer, and it's going to do pretty well. especially if I target golf offer, and it's going to do pretty well, especially if I target them based on the fact that they most likely enjoy golf. And again, this is something that very few marketers use. It's an advanced technique, and it's going to help you scale out into other markets with an offer that's related, we'll call it. And to bring this point home, if I'm targeting pest control, the question now becomes, what else do people that buy pest control need or look for? Or what have they purchased recently? Maybe they're new homeowners and they're setting up pest control as a regular service for their new home. So that gives me a whole new vertical that I can target based on psychographics, new homeowners. What about geographic locations? Targeting people that have higher incomes that can afford pest control. So these are different ways and areas that I can. Okay, so we covered this briefly in an earlier video, but I want to make sure that I drive this point home because it's very important for scaling. We want to grab new keywords from our search queries. So if you remember search queries, once you're logged into a campaign, or you can be under all campaigns, you just click on keywords and click on search terms, and then it'll show you what people are typing into Google to get your ad shown to them, and then what happens with that. Okay, so you can see here I've got a couple of keyword ideas that I'm going to go expand on with phrase and exact match. Telephone number for Terminix. I'm going to target that. Right now it's under broad match. I'm going to go and target that with phrase and exact and see which one performs the best and gives me the best cost per click. An Orkin number would be a good one to do as well. So I've got Orkin number and telephone number for Terminix. And while I'm at it, I'll probably do telephone number for Orkin as well, and then turn around and do Terminix number. So I can crisscross these two, and now I have 4 different keyword ideas straight from search queries, and that's just for today's results. So again, very important stuff to help you expand out and get more conversions at a lower cost. Okay, so now we're going to talk about using brand names to expand and scale your campaigns. Now, just a word of warning, not all campaigns allow this, so you're definitely going to want to go back and check the campaign details screen inside of the affiliate platform and make sure that you can use brand names. Sometimes they allow you to use other brand names except for the brand name they represent. So for example, if the offer for pest control, which in this case it doesn't, but let's just say hypothetically it did for a second, if it said that it was strictly for Terminix and I can't use Terminix name in any of the ad copy or target the keywords, then obviously I would have to abide by that. But if they don't say anything about any other brand names, then I can use Orkin and Cook's Pest Control, Western Pest Control, name brands that are not Terminix I would still be able to use. And one of the ways you can get around that is also not just using the direct brand name, but you can think about small and medium-sized businesses, pest control businesses for this example, where you can still get traffic. It may not be massive amounts like from a brand name like Orkin, but you're also not going to have as many bids on those small to medium-sized business key terms, because most people are focused on big brand names, the brand names that they know right off the top of their head or from initial research. So small and medium-sized businesses is where the money's at for sure. Ways you can grab those small and medium-sized businesses are through Google Places or hiring people to scrape local business directories such as Yelp, YP, and so on. So again, brand names, very effective if it's allowed in the campaign. Make sure it's allowed or approved before you go and do that. And again, target small, medium-sized businesses. Find different listing sites where you can grab those, and preferably pay somebody to do that so you don't spend a lot of time on that.